on stage?
Yeah.
I thought we were standing. Can we sit? Oh.
That's for the panel. That's for the panel.
Wait, aren't you coming with us?
Yours opening. I'll pull up. You just.
All three of us are going to support each other.
Oh, you want me to
And you're
support
speaking
you?
too, so it makes sense for you.
Oh
Yeah.
my goodness.
I feel more comfortable.
Okay.
Okay, come on.
I'm gonna go up, woman. Here with my father.
Come on, sweetheart. I don't even know what I'm saying. Are we ready? All right, hey y'all. My name is Darius, and I'd like to welcome y'all to the first annual Youth Justice Summit here at the People's Forum. We guarantee that this will be a meaningful and powerful day, and we are so happy that you all were able to make it. Give it up for yourselves for showing up for justice on a Saturday morning. We envision this Youth Justice Summit to be a creative, energizing, and mobilizing event for youth activists and youth who care about impacting their communities and schools. We invite you to network and engage fully in our amazing afternoon workshops, which address a range of issues impacting young people throughout all boroughs of New York City. We will announce the location of these workshops at lunch. Make sure you stick around for our open mic at 3:15 p.m. You can sign up at any point for the open mic on this list here. What list? It's over there. The list, yeah, it's over there. Okay. We also have some special guest poets who will bless the stage before the open mic and get real about what justice looks and feels like.
What's up, y'all? What's up, y'all? Come on, it's a Saturday. We're having fun, feeling good. All right, my name is Sierra. I am the membership manager here at the People's Forum, and we are so happy to have you. Can everyone who works at the People's Forum, can you just stop whatever you're doing and just like wave your hands? Like wild. Alexis, I don't see you waving your hands. Alexis, wave your hands, People's Forum. All right, Alexis said no, but that's Alexis up there at the reception desk. They welcomed you all, and because they didn't raise their hands, I'm calling them out. But we are so happy to have you all here. The People's Forum, we opened last September, and when we were thinking about the vision for the People's Forum and solidifying the mission and the programming, we definitely had you all in mind. Around the same time was when Junior was killed in the Bronx. Junior was stabbed to death in the Bronx while people in the community just stood there and watched. And we knew that we needed to create a safe space for young people to know that this is somewhere they can come and they can belong and they can engage in community, because community is what's going to save us all. At the same time, we were fighting a struggle for a Palestinian freedom fighter, Ahead Tamimi. We want to lift her up as well. Ahead was sentenced to 8 months in prison at 16 years old for fighting back against a soldier who was taking her home, her land, and was trying to brutalize her family members. 8 months for slapping a soldier that was taking her home. And she continued to fight from prison. And then more recently, we had a young person in the Bronx, Maya, who killed herself as a result of being ignored after she had been harmed in her own school. I know this is pretty heavy, but I really just wanted to ground the day and why we are here. We are here both with the People's Forum, with the organizations that are tabling, with the teachers who brought their students, with the organizations that are working with students, and with the students who organized this event. We are here so that you all know that this is your home. This is where you are safe. If you need a glass of water, you need somewhere to use the restroom, you need somewhere to do your homework, you want to just chill, this is where you belong. And the people who work here are here for you. And so I just wanted to sing a song because I like songs. If people could feel comfortable standing up. If people feel comfortable standing up. Come on, I know. Let's get loose. We're here for a few hours. We're going to have some fun together. So this song comes from an organizer in Alabama. Her name is Lady V. Rose. I'm not really good at teaching songs yet. It's something I'm working on. But just getting where you fit in is something I like to say. I'll teach you the lyrics, and then we'll just roll with it. Is that cool? Okay. Could you hold this for me? Because I have to do some. I want to lift my sister up. She's not heavy. Come on, clap with me. I want to lift my sister up. She's not heavy. I want to lift my sister up. She's not heavy. All right, this gets tricky. If I don't lift her up, if I don't lift her up, if I don't lift her up, we will fall. I tricked you. I told you it's tricky. Listen to me. All right, let's try this again. Okay, we're going to do my brother, okay? All right, Darius, you're doing a great job. I didn't mean to snatch the mic from you. Okay. I want to lift my brother up. He's not heavy. Sing louder. I want to lift my brother up. He's not heavy. I want to lift my brother up. He's not heavy. All right, let's do this again. If I don't lift him up, if I don't lift him up, if I don't lift him up. We're almost there. We're going to do this one more time because some people don't have gender, so we're going to do siblings. How about that? I want to lift my siblings up. They're not heavy. I want to lift my sister up. They're not heavy. See, now I'm fucking up. It's your fault. I want to lift my siblings up. They're not heavy. If I don't lift them up, if I don't lift them up, if I don't lift them up, we will fall down. Thank you all.
So I already told y'all this, but my name is Darius, and I'm a rising junior at Bard High School, Early College, Queens, and I live in Queens also.
Hi, y'all. My name is Zubayda. I go by she, her, hers. I'm a rising senior at Bard Queens, and I'm the co-founder and president of my school's South Asian Student Association.
Hello, everyone. My name is Imora Blakeney. I'm from Harlem. I also go to Bard Queens. I'm a rising sophomore, and I'm the leader of a mentoring group and club called Black Girls Talk at my school. Yes.
Woo!
All right, so today we have Action Corps NYC. Wait, what am I doing?
No, I'm just saying, say it, but just slow down.
We have Action. We have Action Corps NYC, Affirm.
Can you do like a woo if you're here? If these are the tabling organizations.
Okay, I'm gonna start over. Okay. Action Corps NYC, Affirm. Oh God, I don't know how to pronounce this.
Anakbayan.
Yeah. Atlas DIY. Black Lives Matter at NYC schools. Black Youth Project 100.
They're coming.
The Brooklyn Academy of Music.
Yeah.
Code Pink, Women for Peace. Democracy Now. DSA Afro Socialists, yeah. Girls for Gender Equity. Global Kids. Hashtag House Lives Matter. Iris House. Integrate NYC. Justice Center and El Barrio. Oh, I don't know how to pronounce this one either. Oh. Yeah.
Kabataan. Alliance.
Min Kwan Center for Community Action, the People's Forum and Poor People's Campaign, a national call for a moral revival. Sadie Nash Leadership Project, Take on Hate, Teens Take Charge, Vibe Theater Experience, and War Resistors League. So these are all of the groups that are here with us today for the event.
So before we get into our discussions, I want to see like an idea of where everyone's from. So I'm from Jamaica, Queens. So if you're from Queens, make some noise, please. Okay, guys, we can do a lot better. Come on, louder, louder. All right, if you're from Brooklyn, make some noise, please. That's what I want to hear, louder. If you're from the Bronx, make some noise. Manhattan. If you're from Manhattan, make some noise. Staten Island. Should I do Staten Island?
And this one's really unlikely, and we really forget that there's another borough. If you're from Staten Island, oh, there's one person. Oh.
All right. I think that's all, right?
No, we ain't doing that.
Woo!
I guess if you from Long Island or Westchester or New Jersey.
All
Alright,
right.
what's next?
The guidelines.
Okay, so separate corners for the so I have to put them down now, right? Yeah. All right. So everybody, when you came in, got a piece of paper with a different color. So my paper, I have my own group. Y'all are lucky to have me. Mine is yellow. So if you have a yellow paper, we're gonna just break y'all up into different colors. We're gonna all kind of spread apart. So y'all are gonna see us waving around these different colored cards, and just follow us to a separate corner of the room so we can discuss the guidelines of today.
All right, so everybody who has yellow, can you come find Marcus and sit in this front row here? Sorry, oh my God, we were just talking about getting Marcus. Darius. Marcus is a panelist who we were just talking about. Darius will sit right here in the front row if you have yellow. It's going to be a 15-minute discussion before our panelists come up here. All right, if anybody has green, come here with Imora in the front row. Orange is over here with Zubaida. Light blue is in the back. Could you stand up, Osa? Thank you. Pink is over there by the open mic sign. Red is right over there with Ellie. And we got a dark purple over there with Sylvie. And just try to settle in once you find your facilitator, and they'll give you some instructions. Yeah, I think it'll be good.
Yeah,
Marcus not here.
He said he'll apparently like 15 minutes ago he said he was 4 stops away. So
And
he'll
we're on,
be here.
and we're on time. So it's good.
Everything is working out. Everything's working
It's
out.
working out.
Hey guys, just reminding y'all we have like 5 more minutes. So like closing statements and all that. Yeah, that's all. I'll wait people to settle down and yeah.
If you can ask
My group.
everybody to move up.
Yeah. Do y'all want to move up maybe? There's some space up there, get closer to the stage. Do you guys want to move up a little bit since we're getting closer?
I have to stop to get Dunkin' Donuts. I'm excited for the performance.
Yes.
What's next? I don't remember.
Piano after the
I'm
share.
Oh, can we tell the panelists to just sit up there, I guess? After we share? Like, to just kind
Well,
of...
I think when you introduce them.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
We can hold them right here, and then when you call them up, we'll tell them to walk on. Is that okay?
Yeah,
I'll tell them to wait right here.
Where's Ellie? Because Ellie and I will be...
Okay, yeah, Ellie. And that's Marcus. Did you all meet Marcus?
Nice to meet you.
Khadija from Instagram.
Hello. Oh, yeah,
Men's room, women's room, and gender neutral is upstairs. No, the stairs are over there. Hold on 1 second.
yeah, I'm going to do that. And
Just
then...
a couple of people. So we can move to the panel.
Okay. I talked one kid into it.
Yeah. Hey, guys. All right, we're gonna come together now, and guys, how do I get people to listen?
Power, we got the power, cause we are the revolution. Power, we got the power, cause we are the revolution.
So, I hope you guys got into like deep conversations about justice, got to know each other a little bit more, and hopefully start bonding over justice. I want to ask a few facilitators to share a few points that they heard during their conversations, and just like stuff they heard and what they learned. Darius, do you want to share a few points?
Okay. So basically, we answered all the questions, and hold on, let me look again because I don't remember. Okay, yeah. So we went over like where we're from and whatever, and a lot of my group members didn't identify as activists, but they're looking to become one, which is really cool. And they felt that activism, like being an activist, is like advocating for people who can't advocate for themselves, and like really speaking out against certain things that happen in the world and in the country and in their schools and stuff. And a lot of them wanted to change school lunch and anything that's going on in school. So like diversity, school lunch, the way that the classes are taught, all of that kind of stuff. Yeah.
I have like two more people. So I found someone in the back, but I mean, you guys can't see them, but they're over here.
I have to stand up?
Up to you. Say what's
All right. Okay. So, I'll say my name. Okay. So, I noticed a lot of people in my group wanted to change things about their school, like the diversity aspect, like is diverse, or like people don't really care about the school and they want people to like have a bigger voice or like pay more attention, like invest more time into it, because school is not something to like give up freely.
Thank you for sharing. So I think we're gonna move on to panelists now, right? I'll grab my sheet. So now we're excited to feature a panel of activists, and they'll discuss their experiences growing up in movement and how they're still involved in movement. And yeah, let's hear from. Let me just introduce them.
I can't find my description. Okay, we're good.
So our first panelist is Marcus Friedman. Give a. So Marcus is 15 and a member of Anak Bayan, New York, which is an organization that fights for national democracy with a socialist perspective in the Philippines. As a part of Anak Bayan, New York, he is the representative of Kabatan, the Kabatan Alliance, which works on a broader scale with high school and college students for democracy and basic human rights in the Philippines, and more concretely, the cutting of U.S. military aid to the Philippines. Next, we have Alexis Hyatt. Woo. And she is a queer artist from South Florida, currently residing in Harlem, New York City. She has been a community organizer for 4 years, focusing on the issues of police brutality and gender-based violence. Alexis is currently pursuing her Master's of Social Work at Columbia University and has a background in sociology and Black global studies. As a restorative justice practitioner, she has worked on cases within the community and divergent cases in partnership with the state of Florida. She currently interns at Girls for Gender Equity, where she co-facilitates co-facilitates programs for girls of color who have experienced sexual and gender-based violence alongside their allies. She uses restorative practices to address the cultural uniqueness of queer feminine girls of color in order to create a safe space for them to be their authentic selves.
So next we'll have Khadija Cohen. We'll have them come up. Khadija is a lead at Integrate New York City. She recently joined Integrate NYC this year and works with other youth and adult allies to desegregate New York City schools using the 5R platform. She's excited to share Integrate New York City's mission, her recent activist work, and her story as a New York City student. Next we'll have Claudia Dela Cruz. Claudia was born in the South Bronx to immigrant parents from the Dominican Republic. She is a popular educator, community organizer, and theologian. In her role as the director of culture at the People's Forum, Claudia is committed to contribute her experiences and skills in the creation of cultural educational space of organizers, educators, and cultural workers/artists to continue producing, promoting, and uplifting the cultural traditions that nourish and strengthen our communities in our struggle towards social justice.
For over 20 years, she has been committed to movement building and has actively participated in collective grassroots spaces, particularly in communities of Washington Heights and the South Bronx.
Claudia was a pastor of her home church, St. Romero of the Americas, a community church rooted in the traditions of Latin American liberation theology and grassroots organizing. Through her ministry, she found her passion and has dedicated most of her life to the leadership development of youth through political education and culture.
In 2004, she co-founded, do you want to say it? The Urban Butterflies Youth Leadership Development Project, DUB. Her experiences in DUB have informed her participation in the development of cultural and political programming at the Rebel Diaz Arts Collective for almost 5 years.
You're doing this. I was like, what are they talking about? Sorry.
So I'd like to have each of the panelists share their origin story in respect to activism and organizing. So anyone could start from, I guess, left to right or right to left. So.
No pressure.
Okay. So, yeah.
Yep.
My bad. So I joined my organization, Anak Bayan, in November 30th, and this was at a Anak Bayan celebration. And I started joining, Anak Bayan is a anti-imperialist organization that works for national democracy in the Philippines. And I joined Anak Bayan mostly because my sister was in the org, and I looked up to her, and I thought just organizing was this cool-ass thing that, like, cool people do, which it is, but, like, but I started to realize that it's more than that, because I started learning about actually how important it is and how necessary organizing is for youth, especially in the climate that we're going in. So even without my sister, I think everybody needs to be able to organize now. And right now, it's just also just like learning about all these different things, about how there's been over 30,000 deaths in the Philippines today from the current president, and how the Philippines is the 5th most mineral-rich country, but the people are poor. So we're not profiting off our own land, and where's all our natural resources going? Where is it going? So it's like we started to realize that the US is taking all these natural resources from import-export policies, from militarization and taking of indigenous people's lands. So we realized that the US imperialism is a common enemy, and even just like relating back the Philippines conditions to other conditions like Puerto Rico, like Cuba, there's very similar, because we're not profiting off our own land, even though we have a lot of natural resources. And we have a common enemy of imperialism, and we're all fighting different parts of the same revolution. And that's really empowered me to like continue organizing and keep going in a way. Yeah.
That was great, and I have to follow that. Okay. So my organizing has been kind of untraditional. I grew up in a Jamaican household where I was affirmed in my blackness, but I was also not understanding of the blackness that resides on U.S. soil. And so growing up and learning the history of this land and drawing parallels between Jamaica and drawing parallels with the US, I came to want to have conversations about how to bridge the gap together. And so that led me into like numerous leadership roles on campus when I was a college student, where we would engage in discussions about police brutality and what's happening and how the system came to be that marginalized its Black and brown people. And then came Dream Defenders, got started on our campus, which is an organization an organization for millennials organizing around like voters' rights, and at the time specifically used to organize around police brutality. And then we'd engage in political education discussions, learning about capitalism, imperialism, socialism, all the isms. And then that really sharpened my analysis of the world that we live in today. Fast forward, I realized that in these organizing spaces, it was often talking about challenging patriarchy, speaking out against patriarchy, respecting women, respecting Black women, but the practices of the values weren't there. And so in that work, I started having conversations with women in organizing in movement spaces. And I but I started to see that we all had similar stories. And so that brought me back to my childhood and some things that I experienced in school. And then I realized that the source, well, for me, I feel like my purpose resides in Black and brown women, and organizing with Black and brown girls. And so that's kind of what led me to gender-based violence work today. I'll stop there.
So I'm from the South Bronx. And if y'all didn't know, that's the birthplace of hip hop. So we believe in a call and response. I'm going to start with that. When I say people, you say power. People, power. People, power. When I say we want, you say freedom. We want, freedom. We want, freedom. We want, freedom. Maybe we'll get better in the energy at the end. But I started organizing 25 years ago. I know I look like I'm 25, but I'm not. I'm 38. And I started doing organizing work 25 years ago around street organizations, which are better known as gangs. So the Bronx was populated by the Latin kings and queens and the ñetas. And I went to Theodore Roosevelt High School, which was the second worst high school in the Bronx in the 90s. When I was 13 and walked into the building was just about being evacuated. That was my freshman year. Hello, high school, because somebody got stabbed in the bathroom. And I didn't necessarily realize the collectiveness or the collective suffering that came with violence in the community, and violence that also came from the state, the NYPD. So during that time, I started doing organizing with the street organizations, but also doing anti-police brutality work. And when I say organizing with the street organizations, I mean having them understand that killing each other was part of the plan of the state. Having them understand that the guns that they used against each other and the weapons that they used against each other didn't just show up. They were brought into our communities. Right? And that none of us actually own ports or airplanes to be able to bring in drugs into the community. Somebody was bringing it in. And the people that came into the community and bought it were not our own people. And so that was the type of political education that we were handling in the 90s. We started doing organizing work around police brutality, particularly around the cases of Anthony Valles and Hilton Vega, who were shot in an apartment building by the cops. And then came Amadou Diallo, just a couple of days before I turned 14. How many of you have heard of Eric Garner? The first time that the chokehold that killed Eric Garner was used was with Anthony Baez, a young man that was killed a couple of blocks away from my house. In the process of becoming organized myself as a person, and by organized I mean politicized, understanding how these things happen, why they happened, I was able to affirm myself as a Black Caribbean woman. I'm a second-generation immigrant from the Dominican Republic, and in the Dominican Republic, to say Black is to say Haitian. And we're nothing but cousins because we share the same island, right? And every one of us at some point has a cousin or a cousin's cousin who's Haitian, but we deny our Blackness. And so I was able to affirm myself as a Black Caribbean woman in the context of me becoming politicized. I was able to own myself as an immigrant, right? Because we want to think that, you know, immigrants are the ones that get off right off the boat. If I was born here, I'm not an immigrant, well, I am, right? And I was able also to affirm myself as a victim, or let's not say victim, a survivor of imperialism, like the brother said. So there's three main things that I focused on in my life. Anti-capitalism, which is the economic system that creates a lot of the symptoms that we suffer from the violences in our community, to the self-hatred, to the consumerism, to the aspects of individualism. Anti-imperialist, because I understand that imperialism is what creates people, what creates the condition for people to have to leave their countries, and creates the basis for militarism, which is the highest expense of the United States of America. And anti-patriarchal, because I am a woman. And because I am a woman, I understand that patriarchy not only paints us as women, but paints men as well, and creates gender roles and gender norms that confine us as human beings. So I'll say it, just keep it at that.
I'm Khadija, and I'm really just getting my feet wet with activism. Like, I started working at Integrate NYC January, so I'm really just starting, but I feel like I'm starting to really understand what my purpose is, and I come from a community with a lot of Latinx people, but I don't see people that look like me, and I feel like as I'm starting to participate in rallies and speaking and coming to events like this, I'm starting to try to be that representation that I don't have. I'm from Senegal, I'm an immigrant, and my school, I don't see anyone that looks like me. My teachers, I don't see anyone, and that's been since school started for me, pre-K to now. So I'm just now trying to get the representation that I want, have my voice heard, and really get my, yeah, I don't know, yeah. Sorry.
So our next question is specifically directed toward Claudia, but if we have other time, then we welcome other panel participants to share, and that is, what inspired you then, like at the beginning of your movement work, and what continues to inspire you now and keep you involved in movement work?
How many of you have heard the name Mumia Abu-Jamal? Right. So I'm 38 years old. Mumia Abu-Jamal was part of the Black Panther Party. And if you know any about the Black Panther Party, they fought for the liberation of the people. And I don't want to say only black and brown people, I want to say the people, the poor people, the people who have been marginalized and have been put to the side. And for his task and his commitment to that type of work, he was entrapped by the Philly Police Department and was placed in prison. And Mumia has been in prison since I was born. He was imprisoned in December 1980. I was born in December 1980, which means that he's been in prison for 38 years. When I started learning about the Black Panther Party, the Young Lords, Comité MIMP, and all these other liberation movements in the 1960s and 70s, I found out that there were hundreds of political prisoners. And that might steer a lot of people away from movement work. It drew me into movement work. And it drew me in because I was able to understand in studying their history that my history is not at all disconnected from them. We all want access to education, right? We all want access to health care. We all fight for housing. We all want to be able to have a quality meal, not the bullshit McDonald's that we have in our blocks all day, every day, because that's the only thing we could buy. So I was able to identify my own struggles in the struggles of movements like the Black Panther Party, like the Chicano movement, like the Puerto Rican independence movement. The Poor People's Campaign of 1968, when Martin Luther King becomes more radicalized and he starts talking about economic issues, Malcolm X, Assata Shakur, I begin to learn about these struggles, and I begin to affirm that if the price for saying what's right and for saying the truth is prison, then by all means, let's get it. Because when we talk about, there are folks that have assumed names like Assata's daughters, folks talk about Black liberation. That cost a lot of blood to a lot of people. There are people who are still in jail because they dared to have the courage to stand up for humanity. And what do we repay them with? Right? Do we forget about that and move along and it's business as usual? Do we play a part in and become complicit with the structures that oppress us and say, I don't want to learn about that. I just want to go and get my education and do whatever I got to do to progress individually? A lot of folks have given a lot for us to be where we are. Nothing that we have, whether it is that we're able to get an education, as bad as it is, whether it is we're able to access, a dollar store, as cheap as that is, has come to us. Somebody fought before us for us to get it. And in acknowledging that, in understanding that, there is a responsibility that I felt I had at 13 years old to assume that path, to carry on that legacy. I had nieces that were born in 2001. They're both 18 today. They're celebrating prom and graduating. And when they were born, I was on my way to Cuba for the 5th time. And when I came back, they asked me, Titi, why do you go to Cuba so much? And I said, I go to Cuba because I aspire for us to one day have a revolution that gives us the basic needs in this country, which is the wealthiest country in the world. And we spend $688 million on wars. But we can't spend that money on education. We can't spend that money in healthcare. We can't spend that money in making sure that people don't have to work 2 or 3 jobs to be able to survive. And if I wasn't able to teach them anything, at least I was able to teach them that. I have a 4-year-old that keeps me up every other day because he's a brown boy in a white supremacist society. He's a brown boy in a society that's going to tell him no too often, and that is going to tell him that he's unable to be vulnerable, that he's unable to be fair, that he's unable to have healthy relationships with women. And I say, fuck no to that. And that's what keeps me inspired.
Thank you for that powerful answer.
We have. I curse like a sailor, so I'm sorry. That's part of the ratchetness that comes from being from the Bronx.
So I'd like to pose this question to Integrate New York City and Anak Bayan. How has social media and technology impacted your organizing, and what are the benefits and the drawbacks of that?
So recently, Integrate NYC had a retire segregation party for our campaign to desegregate New York City schools, because New York City has one of the most segregated schools in the whole country. And with having segregated schools, that means less resources for Black and brown folks. That means less attention to kids who need it. That means lack of representation. With lack of representation, that means that we don't get to look up to people that look like us and give us power. And so we had a retire segregation party to really put our campaign out there. So it was in Times Square. and it was a whole day of giving out our newspaper. We made a newspaper about retiring segregation, our 5R platform, basically breaking it down and really trying to get the whole city to understand this issue. And with the party, it was kind of crazy on social media. I feel like the outcome was really big, and now people kind of understand it more. So I feel like social media has been on our side for sure.
So I think that our work has used social media in a way that like we're able to reach out to people through social media but meet up on the ground. So all the mass work, all the groundwork is still in person, but we're still able to reach out to people across the country, in the Philippines, people in New Jersey, people like I've met so many people just from social media. And it's crazy because you can post something and it can be seen by the world. And this is something that can be used as a tool to really destroy the fascist government that we're working towards. But also it's the idea that we're like reaching out to all these different people and meeting up on the ground in a way, and having like a lot of our work, our committees work on online work so that we post a lot, so we get stuff spread, and that way we can agitate people into doing stuff on the ground. So agitation, reaching out to people, and just, yeah, mass work in a way.
So we'd like to pose this to Girls for Gender Equity. So being a millennial means that you're organizing with baby boomers, Gen X, and Gen Z. So what does it mean to engage in intergenerational organizing, and why is it so important?
So, where do I want to start? There's so many different layers to this, but I guess I'll start out with listening. It's important for people of the baby boomer generation, the Gen Z generation, millennials, to listen to each other and recognize that we're all healing. Specifically for the baby boomer generation, I feel like they have gone through the same experiences as people within this generation have gone through. However, they didn't really have the language or the access to be able to express themselves in a way that this generation does. And so what I tend to find is that even in like a personal relationship with my father, is that I'm able to talk about things that have impacted me in this generation. And in me expressing myself and freeing myself, it also holds the mirror up to them for them to reveal themselves to themselves. So they're seeing me being able to process things, whether it's like emotionally, internally, this world, this system that we live in. And then they're able to look at themselves and be like, oh, like growing up, like that makes sense why this happened to me, or this makes sense why I felt this way. And so working in intergenerational spaces, specifically with Girls for Gender Equity, we listen, we don't police them. We're a space that allows you to express yourself. You can curse, you can get angry, you could get frustrated, you could get upset, and know that you're going to be held. And I think that that comes with the privilege of me and my facilitators and people in my organization being able to hold that genuine space for them and using restorative practices to be responsive to their needs. What else do I want to say? Yeah, that's it. I think the one thing that we're learning in my generation that the newer generation knows and like are experts in is social media. And them having access to things and resources that we didn't have growing up in the movement. And so, like, I'll be having a conversation with a 12-year-old and they're talking about patriarchy and toxic masculinity, and I'm just like, the fact that you have access to this language and like this stuff in a way that I didn't, it just blows my mind. It's amazing, and it makes me look forward to organizing with them some more, because I believe that we're gonna win in the future. We are gonna win in the future. And so it just makes me even more excited to continue to mobilize with this generation.
So because we're good on time, if anyone else on the panel would like to answer on this question, I open up to everyone else.
Or any other previous question.
Yeah. Okay. So we have 15 more minutes. So does anyone from the audience have any questions or comments that they want to pose to the panelists? And I'll come around with the mic, or if you guys are loud enough, we'll all hear it.
Sorry. Well, I just wanted to ask, how do you handle the risks that come with being an advocate and an activist, and like, have you ever had to make a choice between like your education and your like life and your livelihood and like the work that you do?
Ooh, that's a good one. Ooh, that's a really good question. So honestly, still figuring it out. I know people who have risked it all for the movement, but it boils down to us having self-care for one another. Community care, not self-care, community care is very important in the movement spaces. Being able to provide those that do put themselves on the line in the name of liberation, being able to provide them with resources and support, knowing that we're all in this fight together, and knowing that we all have different entry points into the movement. And so basically like knowing your place, knowing what you can contribute to the movement, and therefore those people that do put their bodies on the line and put themselves out there will be able to fall back. They'll be able to fall back on community.
Anything that's worth the while is going to take sacrifice. Anything. Doesn't matter what you choose. I think what I've learned is that the movement doesn't need martyrs. We have a lot of martyrs. We have a lot of martyrs, and we don't even remember them at times, right? I think it's important for us to be able to think collectively and think about what collectively is at stake if we do or we don't. Because a lot of the times we think individually. I'm going to lose my job. I'm going to lose this opportunity. People are not going to recognize that I was the one that brought this idea to the table, right? And it's not about the I. Like, we have iPods, iPhones, everything's I, selfies, you know what I'm saying? Everything's I. And at some point, we were able to move as a people and get whatever privileges we have, that are not many, because people thought of the we. What we will get. How will we advance? How many generations will advance because I am part of contributing to this, right? And so I honestly do think that collectives are important. And if we look at history, you know, Martin Luther King didn't just say, wake up one morning and say, you know, I'm gonna move this by myself. Malcolm X didn't just wake up one morning and say, oh, white supremacy, I'm gonna fight you by myself. Like, there was no I. Actually, the movements were the ones that raised these leaders. And it was the movement that took care of those leaders because they understood that they were strategically needed. They were needed for a reason. Like, there was a reason Martin Luther King became the figure that he was, and it was because at a given moment, it was acknowledged. This man doesn't only speak to black people. He speaks to all people. He's able to do that, right? And so movements have a role and have a responsibility in shaping us. What has happened is that we've abandoned the principles of building collective power. We've abandoned the principles of being movement-based. When we talk about social media, the question that y'all were raising, like, there's no tactic of social media if they're in a movement to tell you what the hell you're posting. The movement is the one that is supposed to be saying, this is necessary at this moment, and this is part of a campaign, and this is how we're gonna move it forward. But again, iPhones, iPads, I, right? And so there are sacrifices. There are always going to be sacrifices, and there are always going to be choices that we have to make. But our north to make those decisions will always and have always been, in any successful space in history, when movement is at the ground and is the one that's driving us.
Hi, so I have a question specifically for Marcus. As a young activist, do you feel as though sometimes you're not taken as seriously? Like, because of your age, people think that, oh, since you're young, you don't have as much to say. Do you feel that you struggle with people not thinking as much of you because you're young?
So I think I struggled with that when first joining, but then I think after realizing that the youth are one of the most important sectors in a movement, so the idea is that, yes, we do require our elders for the power and and wisdom that they hold, but we also ourselves hold one of the most important roles, so they also need us in a way so that we need to learn from them, but they also need to learn from us of how to make the movement most successful. So I think it's been like not shifting it to constantly like being that dynamic, because that's also like a capitalist like mindset of just like, oh, we have to listen to our elders and this is like a different power. But we also need to like know that like it doesn't matter what age group you are, it doesn't matter who you are, we need people in this movement. It doesn't matter who, it doesn't matter where, we need people, we need, you know. And I've learned a lot from elders, so yeah, it's been cool. It's been chill.
Okay, hi. This is a question for everyone, but like you guys, not all of you have to share. But when you started, how did you know that you wanted to get into it? Like, was it from people around you, or where'd you get the idea of becoming an activist? And how'd you know that you were one?
I've always wanted to be an activist. I feel like I've always had a sense and understanding of what injustice was, because I have proud African parents who raised me in a household where I know who I am and I feel empowered to be Black. And even in an environment where I don't see people who look like me ever. But yeah, I think it's definitely been my parents who grounded me. So I've always known I wanted to be an activist, and I decided to really put myself in it this year because I wanted to show out for my community and actually be the change that I want to see.
I didn't want to be an activist. I just knew I wanted to do the work. So my life's purpose is tied to figuring out how to make this world a better place and how to heal. And so I think that the title activist was imposed upon me. It's not something that I've really processed yet, or like, I don't know what that means for me specifically, but I know what healing looks like. I know what having a conversation with somebody looks like in order to allow them to be a better, or like be able to process things better than they have previously. I know what healing looks like. Like, I don't know. I know how to be proud of my Blackness. I know that was something I grew up in, that my parents instilled in me. I just don't know about the title of activism. I just knew that I wanted to continue to do this work towards liberation.
My bad. I should be more, I'm sorry. Okay. I think that like, at first, just at a young age, I started like watching all these documentaries about the Black Panthers, but also just like learning around me from my friends who are all people of color, of just like all the different traumas that they go through and how it affects them personally. And just learning about systematic racism from a young age, and like learning about all these different things that affect different people of color, but also because I wasn't like, because I'm mixed, and also because I wasn't really sure and connected to my culture of being Filipino, I wasn't able to like tie it back to myself in a way. But then after finding that like awakening of who I am, I can I think anybody can tie organizing and activism to themselves, but also to everybody, because everybody is related back to the movement, because the idea is that we're all connected in the same struggle towards the same goal. So I think just from learning about my own identity, I was able to say that, like, this is something that needs to happen. And yeah, that was it.
I don't consider myself an activist. I'm an organizer and I'm an educator. And there's differences to that. And at some point, we'll hopefully have space to discuss what those differences are. As an organizer, I think that the first space where I learned to organize was in my family. And it wasn't by people who ever affirmed themselves to be organizers. It was people who were caught up in the need to be able to survive, and were doing organizing before I even gained the language to say that that was organizing. It's a service. It's a service, right? And some of you might come from faith traditions and have parents that came from faith traditions, might hear the word often, and a lot of organizers may not attach the word service to it, but I do, because I think it's a highly spiritual practice, and is a highly, is a space of high service. And when I say high service, I mean you're there for the people. Again, detaching a lot of what the eyes that we are believed to understand as what we need to do, that's what it is. And when you are in collective and when you are in community, there's a certain feeling of wholeness that comes with it, that once you know that feeling, you can't detach from. It's like getting a new pair of glasses. Like, you don't have glasses, you see blurry. Like, I'm myopic, so I don't see from afar. So if I don't have my glasses on and I know you and I see you and I don't have my glasses or contacts, I'm not gonna say hi, right? Because I don't see you. But once you gain those frames, you see people. And you see people and you see yourself in them. And their suffering becomes yours. And you don't do it from a place of pity, because pity is not service. You do it from a place of love. And when you do it from a place of love, you challenge, you move, you push, you grow, right? And so when we talk about organizing, is reclaiming that aspect of service that is done with and through love to be able to change the systems that need to be changed, that allow us to be human beings again.
I want to thank all the panelists today, and can we all please give a round of applause for the panelists? Yeah, now we'll have Yamora introduce Vibe Theater.
Hello, everyone. Can we give another round of applause for the panelists? I'm now going to welcome Vibe Theater Experience to the stage. Vibe Theater Experience provides girls ages 13 through 19 and young women ages 18 through 24 in New York City with free, high-quality artistic, leadership, and academic opportunities. Vibe works to empower underserved teenage girls to write and perform original theater, video, and music about the real-life issues they face daily. Vibe's performing arts and training programs provide a platform for participants to amplify their voices and speak truth to power, and to create an artistic response to the world around them. Please welcome India Sullivan, Anaya Hines, Ariel Ross, Kiani Hayward, and Monica Cancion. Thank you. Oh, sorry.
I'm oppressed by being both a woman and a person of color, and my father is white, so he's never experienced oppression. Sometimes it is hard for my father to understand the racial and gender issues that I go through, but my father notices that people say hateful things about me for being biracial. It surprised me that I grew up in New York all my life and dealt with racism in this diverse state. Many of the people that bullied me did not accept the idea of mixing. And this is not the only way I dealt with hatred for being biracial. I also noticed that when I'm with my father, people would treat us with respect and seem to acknowledge us. And when I'm with my mother, all of a sudden, I start to feel invisible. And it doesn't matter where we go. People are superior than us, act like we don't exist. And this is the oppression that women of color go through. The oppression women of color go through is being ignored and mistreated in by people who believe to be superior than us. Black women have always been devalued in this country. Black women are often caricatured as being violent and dangerous. And because of these stereotypes, we are portrayed in a negative light. And many women try to compare their issues to mine. But you can never truly understand my experience. And I can never truly understand yours. But we can listen to one another. We must not underestimate the power of listening and being listened to.
How do you like your coffee? Black, like my men. I love my black boys. Love the way my black boys' skin matches with the midnight sky and their white teeth shines like stars. Ooh. See, my black boys are great. My black boy's skin looks so fucking sexy, attractive, fantastic, especially when it's glistening in the sun, when the smell of Vaseline, cocoa butter, and cologne attacks my nostrils and ultimately remind me of a refreshing dip of chocolate. Whew. It's getting hot. But they use their skin like the shiniest shield ever made to hide their emotions, their fears, and their worries. And it ponders onto me every day as to why they're scared, but their fears shaking me up in my sleep to remind me to breathe. Eric Garner. That I must move my hands from my pockets, reaching for this imaginative but totally real gun I have, Samuel Du Bois. That I must remember to not have my hoodie on, Skittles in hand, Arizona in the other, because I totally look suspicious. Trayvon Martin. I cannot challenge the men dressed in the clothes of protection that could and would be bleached into the stigmatizing white cloak of the night. The cloak that branched off into disgusting forms of supremacy and the darkest shade of blue. I am scared. You know what? Hell, my black women are scared too. And that bugs me too. Black people, let's be honest. Why is there such a gender and sexuality selectiveness when it comes to caring for our dying community? A difference in reaction, one might say. Like, for example, when a black sister dies, there is no commentary. The community is silent. Like the sound of a gun going off and someone you love is dead. However, when a black brother dies, the community awakens. They awaken from their deep slumber. What happens, Sleeping Beauties? The community is ready to lash out. They're angry despite all types of costs. It's a joke. It can't be right? Black people, we need to use how being black and like Black Lives Matter and things like that. How being black is a reason to unite, not by what private parts I have or what partners I have in my life. It doesn't matter. So please, use how being black is always a reason to unite.
Seguro que mi suerte cambiará. Black like empty bucket of lace. Black like inherent messiness, like ain't nothing wrong with this messiness. Why don't you tidy up my strings? Knit my ends together. Black is living free, living outside of your morality. Black is morals, like don't steal out of granny's purse, no matter how hungry you are. Black is coming out unscathed. Black is coming out scathed, all up in it, and trying to get on out. Black like urgency. Black like guidance. Like maduros. Black like mix them with brown sugar. Black like put butter in your oil pa que no se quema. Black like sofrito. Like ajo molido. Like achote calientada. Like arroz con gandules. Black like open fire hydrants, plastic bags over Timbs, 50-cent café bien dulce. Black like roots from above. Black like bird's eye view. Black like confusion. Black like exhaustion. Black like indulging. Black like chalkboard, black like chalk, black like outlining my body, black like don't own my body, black like politicking, black like open mouths, black like instinctual, you gotta do what you gotta do, black like lifting yourself up off the earth, black like unearthing, black like cleansing, black like divinity that strikes fear into those that don't understand it, black like keeping it cool, black like keeping it together. Black like present, black like torch, black like light, unbending underneath, black like resilience, black like barbershop, black like reclamation, black like black like church, black like home, black like Hosanna, black like Ashe, black like something worth fighting for. That's a fact. Don't start yet, y'all. Let me get your mics together.
I said I'm down on my knees, asking God, oh why please, asking God, oh why me? I said I'm down on my knees, asking God, oh why please, asking God, oh why me? I said I'm down on my knees, asking God, oh why please, asking God, oh why me? This feeling of hatred between you and me, you and me, you and me. When I look in your eyes, I see the fear in you and me, you and me. What do you see? I see a child hurt belly, hurt belly, hurt belly. Can't you see I'm fighting for you and me, you and me? Daddy's all gone, mommy's all gone, money ripped in between. A child whose feelings should be deceased. I said I'm down on my knees, asking God, oh why please, asking God, oh why me? I said I'm down on my knees, asking God, oh why please, asking God, oh why me? I said I'm down on my knees, asking God, oh why please, asking God, oh why me? They come, they go, they always say no, seem like it's daddy or me. Now you're begging me please, asking why your leaves falling off trees. Oh, you don't know where to go home, now I'm begging you please to get down on your knees and pray with me for better leaves. To get down on your knees and pray with me for better leaves. I said I'm down on my knees, asking God, oh why please, asking God, oh why me? I said I'm down on my knees, asking God, oh why please, asking God, oh why me? I said I'm down on my knees, asking God, oh why please, asking God, oh why me?
Doubting yourself, fear being judged, holding a lot and feeling insane, insecure thoughts, feeling lost, pressured and tensed, closed like a lid and aiming and firing, flying in the sky, passion and dream flowing, my heart and mind built like a house, filled up with mazes, try to be accepted. That's not the case. Am I good enough? Am I pretty? Why am I not perfect? Why am I so silly? So I say, D-E-A-R-M-E, what do you say? I'll be determined, I am excellent. I'll make mistakes, but they make me bad. So let those haters rain, 'cause I have an umbrella. Floating and soaring and learning and loving, passionate, intelligent, confident, silly, finding my way, giving it my best, learning that life can be a mess, breaking my way through impossible situations, proving to myself that I am worth a chance. You will feel lost, that's part of life. The biggest judge is yourself more than others. You are not perfect, but just as with it, you are who you are, and no one can change it. So I say, D-E-A-R-M-E, what do you say? I am adventurous, I am rare. I'll make bad decisions, but I'll learn from them. So let those haters rain, 'cause I have an umbrella.
A heart of a diamond lies within me. Haters love to disagree. Since I know what I've been through, this ain't easy. It's actually hard to do.
Hard to do.
I wanna take my heart and bury it alive, but knowing this, I know I'll die. Just tired of my niceness, taken for granted, and then they leave me empty-handed. Can't live my life in regret. I haven't even started living life yet. Inside my heart is still burning hot. Thank God I'm not done learning.
No worries, I'm doing fine. Thinking, contemplating, just need some time. Maybe one day they'll realize all the joy and love I have inside. I'm not spoiled and don't want your sympathy, because everything is starting to make sense instantly. Honestly and unapologetically, a heart of a diamond still lies within me. You ask me why relationships ain't lasting in this generation. Are you trying to make the wrong people love you the right way? A, make beautiful promises that they can't keep. They match their shirt with their shoes, but not their actions with what they say. With what they say. Mama always said, don't chase what you want, elevate to what you want chases you. It seems like people don't appreciate loyalty, yet they want it so badly. They treat you good one day and act like you don't exist the next. And this is the day and the age we're in. And this is the day and the age we're in. And this is the day and the age we're in. And this is the day. Sing along, y'all. And this is the day and the age we're in. And this is the day and the age we're in. And this is the day and the age we're in. And this is the day. Thank y'all so much. Revive Theater Experience. Check us if you need us. Love you. Thank you.
Hashtag Vibe Theater, VIBETHEATER at Vibe Theater. Tag us. Yes.
Okay, guys. I know that I love the performances, but how do you guys feel? I want to hear it. Come on. Also, I saw a lot of you guys recording, so if you're going to post, use the hashtag TPF Youth Justice Summit. So we'll put it up somewhere at some point. But also, Vibe Theater is tabling. They're somewhere over there, so go visit them during lunch, which will be soon. But right now, we would like you guys to reflect and just like turn and talk and share these two questions. It's up there and it's on all the screens, so if you like need them to refer to, they're up there. Thank you.
P-O-W-E-R, we got the power 'cause we are the revolution. P-O-W-E-R, we got the power 'cause we are the revolution. P-O-W-E-R, we got the power 'cause we are the revolution.
Thank you. I hope you guys all enjoyed Vibe Theater Experience. Yes,
Yeah,
right?
Vibe Theater!
All right, so with that, we are going to head into lunch, provided by the People's Forum. So can we give them a hand for providing lunch for us? Thank you. During lunch, remember to sign up for open mic on the wall over there. Visit the organizations that are tabling, and visit the art station right over here. And t-shirts as well?
Yes.
Okay. We also want to thank Reynaldo Garcia Pantaleon, right over there, a designer with the People's Forum. We have 3 beautiful screens to print today. Reynaldo will lead an afternoon workshop about printmaking, but is also helping us print on shirts.
When I say people, you say power. People. Power. People. Power. When I say people, you say power. People. Power. People. Power. All right, y'all, we have Imora here from Bard High School, who has been helping to organize this youth summit. And so Imora wants to give us some instructions so we know what the rest of the day is looking like. So if everyone can please just focus your attention on Imora, and then we're going to go into lunch and all the other dope-ass activities that are happening. So, Imora.
Yes. So Reynaldo, he is leading a printmaking workshop. He's helping us print shirts. So if you brought shirts to print or can donate the People's Forum, you can find Reynaldo during lunch or after the workshops. So he's right there, yes. And once again, remember to sign up for open mic, visit the organizations and the art station. Thank you.
So please remember that there are organizations that are tabling. During lunch, you can go out, say hi to them, see what's up with them this summer. If you can join, if you're interested. Some of the organizations that are tabling are also leading workshops. So if you go into your program, you don't necessarily have to go to the workshop that you registered for, but please just check out the workshops that we have from 1:30 to 3 p.m. We also have the Iris House here with us, and the Iris House offers services, health services for women and femmes in our community. And today they not only have goodies to give out to us, but they're also doing free HIV testing in this room over here. It's completely confidential. No one will know a thing. If you're questioning, if you've never done it before, just get tested. Why not, you know? So yeah, super fun. If you have any questions, if folks who helped organize, if you can raise your hands. Raise them high, come on. We're gonna do like a full thank you to everyone, but if you have any questions, please talk to these folks. They're wonderful, and I'm gonna get off this mic. Okay, thanks, bye.